Hello, this is Mama Jess. I'm giving you an update on the flight away from a narcissist and their narcissistic enabler. So things are always pretty unpredictable when you're taking flight. People offer things and then they recant because they don't really mean what they say. Or you get into the place that you thought was going to be a great setup, and then you get to see the person in their personal life. So what's been happening is that I'm seeing this individual that opened their home to me that I can stay just for a short period before I go and find a better situation. I'm seeing that they are kind of like an addict, right? In an ever-present state of kind of panic, crisis, worry, lots of smoking cigarettes, spending money on cigarettes, and then asking to borrow money. That's stuff I can't stand. So lots of money spent on coffee from a store when you can just buy coffee from a grocery store, make your own at home, which is a lot cheaper. And if you take time to make it, it cuts down on cost. And then also the soda and the energy drinks, and they're running on caffeinated fumes, stimulants, and all these accelerants that are making them they pace, they have to smoke, they're just so stressed out, and their grand excuse is that you don't know how hard it is, and I'm working so much and everything's really hard for me. And they'll say I never have enough time. But I'm you have a lot of time to smoke cigarettes. You have a lot of time and that extra gas money to drive all the way down to the mini mart to get your pack of cigarettes and drive all the way back home. And it's just that spinning out on all of the things that they want to do, but they don't do it. So one thing about me is that I don't hang out with talkers. I hang out with people that do things. And you'll find there are very few. Most people like to talk about things, make plans, talk about their latest project they're going to work on, and they just never do anything. So it's like an addiction just to talk about what you're going to do and never do it. But where things got pretty heated is I actually had the first good night of really good sleep because I got such heavy adrenal fatigue and that nerve burnout from being so verbally abused and always hypervigilant and waiting for the person to come and knock on the door and want something from you, and they're going to tear you down and make a big scene and then go slander you to their partner, and then it's then you're the big toxic person on the property. So that was burning me out. But then now in this situation, so I thought, I'm going to rest. This is great. Well, I get a text in the morning hey, can I borrow some money? I can't make rent. And I'm thinking, well, right, the first thing I go, well, that's because you're spending money on cigarettes, probably $200-300. And my heart sunk. I thought, I'm a beat down, exhausted woman. Been widowed for 26, 7, 8 years now. I'm not trying to pull a victim card because I'm very involved in making my life run well, but I'm also stating that is a title that God gives to people who are more vulnerable. And those people, along with orphans, we would call probably foster kids, they're taking advantage more, period. So there are real victims and there are false victims, and you just have to discern the difference. But I'm just laying there absolutely spent. I'm exhausted. I just moved a whole bunch of stuff the day before, and I knew okay, I moved all that. I'm not going to be able to move this day. But this individual calls me in this way that's I need money now. And you can feel that pressure, the crisis comes at you, and it's if you don't do this, I'm jammed. And I'm thinking well, you needed to plan better. You need to prepare. You need to slow down. You need to have faith, maybe. Have faith in God for a moment. Which leads me into the next issue. Now, when I met this person, a coworker, they were very drawn to me saying, like, I follow Jesus and I love righteousness. So they were like, can I talk to you about some stuff? And so I thought they must like my faith and my pursuit of God. And we talked about both of our experiences having been in cult-like evangelical Christian environments and what that did to us. And we had a lot in common, understanding narcissism. And sure enough, I was so confused at the time because there was so much mention of scripture, and this person is very gifted in teaching scripture. But then he'd say, I'm a witch. And I'd just be like, what? How can that be? What does that mean? And so it's not computing to me, really. I'm just like, okay, like what? And then we would just keep talking about all kinds of things. And so, and sometimes when you're in a crisis, you're not paying attention to like someone's spiritual practices. You're just like, hey, you got a room? I need to stay. Well, what I have known about witchcraft in the past is that it has to do with manipulation. It has to do with using people, striving. There's a certain hard-hearted rebellion against God, and you want to be powerful and autonomous and independent of anybody. It's like you are on your own spiritually, and you're making stuff happen. And so at that moment, I was like, I feel like that's that spirit I felt that was coming at me hard, kind of like pressing on me really hard, like, I need you to do this. And it's like, I'm not the one, man. I don't. And then I knew it's like, I'm gonna have to drive down to the bank, and my body's thrashed, and I've learned with my chronic fatigue how to handle it so that I can have enough energy to actually function. But when someone's pushing me and burning me out quickly, then I'm really gonna be burnt and have to have weeks of recovery. And so anyway, so upon moving to the house, of course, I see like the altar, the witchcraft altar. And I kind of just like give a side look at it, like, that's kind of different, you know. Anyway, I gotta like, you know, care for myself and have shelter right now. Well, I can definitely tell you, like, if you see someone who's got witchcraft paraphernalia, you get the hell out. Okay, that's Mama Jess's message. You get the hell out. I don't even cuss, but you get the hell out of there, and you do not involve yourself with these people because they are very hard against God. They're very hard against faith in God that brings the rest, like childlike faith. So, I mean, I find it interesting. It's like, you got all your witchcraft stuff. You got your crystal ball, and you got your stick, and you got you got food up for like whatever these spirits are, honey and bread and rice and whatever, water. And you are pretty much, oh yeah, you're into crystals, all these different crystals and stuff. And what was I saying about that? See, I'm so spun out right now. I can't even believe what I'm dealing with. I have to leave a narcissistic environment and go into a witchcraft house. And now I'm retreating. So I'm in a hotel right now is what I'm telling you. And I'm going to be here 2 nights, and then I don't know where I'm going to go. Okay, that's how this is. I've been in this situation before. And this is what it takes in this country where there's such a lack of real charity among people, because everyone's afraid to be used, and I totally get it. But people are selfish. They don't want to be inconvenienced. And they see a pattern in your life. It's like, why are you homeless again? It's like, well, because I'm always like up against narcissists exploiting me, because I don't have my own money to have my own home. And when you don't, you're just going to get thrashed and used endlessly. And then you go to another place, you know, and you're trying to rest, and the person who says, like, you can stay here for free until you can find your own place. So, like, can I borrow some money? You're like, what? Like, I'm resting. I'm sick. I'm tired. I'm like half dead. I've been beat up by a narcissist. And for those who know what that's like, it's like there's no greater summation of all abuses in the world to destroy your mind and your heart and your soul and your health. I've seen people who are completely destroyed in their health. And that's kind of and sadly, I feel like that's the path I'm on against my will. I didn't want it to be like this, but I can't make people stop abusing me. And I can't, even if I have boundaries, like, boundaries don't matter. When you have boundaries, people just get more outraged, and you get to see the content of their heart. So anyway, so I did some study on witchcraft, like what's going on with this feeling like I was just kind of pressed into a corner, like, if you don't I need you to give me money. And if you don't, I'm jammed. That's the spirit that it felt like. I'm not going to pay rent. And then what's going to happen? It's like, okay, I'll get it. But after that, I was like, something's not right here. Like, this person is smoking all the time. They say they don't have time to do what they need to do. They're wasting money on cigarettes. And then they're asking the broken down widow in the downstairs bedroom, like, can I borrow money? Like, you know what? Something's really screwed up with that. And so apparently all your like witchcraft stuff ain't working for you because you're full of anxiety. You don't have good judgment. You're not wise with your money. And you just make an excuse like, I don't have the luxury of time, is what I was told. Like, well, if you don't take time, you're going to have a heart attack. If you don't take time, your car is going to blow up. So I realized I was attempting to help this individual because they seemed in need prior to myself being in need. And I do feel like I've just been used. But that's what scripture says, right? It's like, we're going to be used, spitefully used and persecuted. But you do get to a point where I do believe God says you won't be used anymore. Now it's time to leave. And so that's where I'm at right now. I haven't been able to post any of the videos. Clearly, I'm on the run. My body's really thrashed. I don't know where anything is half the time right now because I'm basically shoveling it into my car. And I might be camping the next few days after this, and it might rain, and I'm hoping that I can just relax and be okay with it. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that the place that I thought I was going to go and like start planting seeds it's got a witchcraft spirit there. And I kind of went toe to toe with that spirit. And then when I addressed this with the individual, they were very upset. And so I said, well, we clearly just see things differently. And so I got to go. So last night, because I felt really creeped out by this individual's anger, their changeability, they had said they really wanted to accommodate me. And so I said, well, these are the things I need. Like, I need you to stop smoking so much and spending money on cigarettes and then asking to borrow money from me. That's a need I have if I'm here. And that just didn't go over well. So just know when you're in this process of confronting people, especially people who are addicted or they have some kind of idea of their spirituality, but their life is a wreck, their spirituality isn't working, because spirituality is actually very practical. It's very grounded and it makes real practical sense. So anything else is just kind of this goofy, ethereal, mental thing. And it's just, whatever. It's la la land. So I am just wanting you to know, again, what's going on with me. I do want to get back to teacher skills, but right now I'm teaching the skill of taking flight from narcissists and now witches. And I know witchcraft is spreading in this country rampantly because I do think people feel powerless. A lot of the church is a joke. It's a hypocritical joke. But I am warning you to not be involved, because I had to deal with like rebuking spirits. I'm not a big charismatic, but it was so gnarly. I've never felt that kind of hard, cold, massive, dark spirit. Very resistant to God and faith, and I'm over it. And sadly, all this Harry Potter craze has really been kind of the entry level of all this crap. And I know enough from people who live in Africa to know what's really going on with the full-grown witchcraft. Americans usually can dabble in everything like their little like kindergartens, but they don't know the reality of things, because we have this coexist bumper sticker and we all think we can get along and do whatever you want and just dabble here and there, but we don't understand the demons behind everything. So I guess, Mama Jess, I was just wanting to teach you how to make ice cream and plant seeds, and now I'm like, well, you're gonna have to drive out witchcraft spirits, so let's just get on with it. So I will be posting these when I have time. I just don't know because I'm so thrashed. But if you have a mind to please pray for me, because my health is very broken and it concerns me. And I do need to find a place to stay in the next few days, and I probably will be camping, which I love, which will be fine, but it is getting cold. And I do have faith in God. I trust God, and I would rather be with God in a car on a campground rather than any of the homes that I have been around with toxic, addicted people who say, I really want to accommodate you. And then when you offer, like, can you please do this? It's like, well, I didn't say that you had to do that. And like, you realize that these petty little spirits that come out, and that only happens when you really touch the golden calf of people, when you touch their idols. you can see who they really are. And it's very important that you see that so you can get out. Get out of their hell, I should say, rather than get the hell out, because I don't really know what that means. Get the hell out. Yeah, get the hell out of your life. So run for your life. You don't want their hell in your life. All right, so this is Mama Jess. I'm passed out in a hotel room, taking flight from all the abuses that are everywhere. And I want you to do the same. If you got to get out and trust God. But do not tolerate any more abuse if you know it's time to go. And I support you in finding a safe haven. All right, I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.